Stubbs, the center fielder. Paul Janisch and Joey Votto. Brandon Phillips leads all National League second basemen with 25 stolen bases and 92 runs batted in. Scott Rowland next, Jay Bruce. Lance Nix, Corky Miller behind the plate tonight, catching Homer Bailey.
They're lined up this way defensively for the Pirates. Millage, McCutcheon, Moss. I just wanted to do this one time.
Go right ahead.
Neil Walker, Ronnie Cedeno. Luis Cruz gets the start at second. Garrett Jones at first. Ryan Domet receiving the offerings of Kevin Hart, making his 13th overall start, his 9th with the Pirates. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't been real good, kind of in between in his starts, but we were talking in the open about his last outing against the Dodgers. It was good in a lot of respects. 6 innings, just 2 runs, and again, just 1 free pass given up, 5 strikeouts against the Dodgers, who will be coming in here for the last series of this season here at home at PNC Park. So Kevin Hart, you'd love to see him piggyback that outing against Los Angeles, have himself a little positive finish for this 2009 season. It's been an interesting kind of a ride. Started out at AAA with the Cubs, came up to Chicago, worked out of the bullpen, did some good work. That got him into their rotation, and that attracted some attention from the Pirates. They got him, and again, he's just been okay, and he wants to, I'm sure, show the Pirates a little bit more right here at the end of the year.
Time to check out Steve's Tips to Win, presented by our friends at Rivers Casino.
Yeah, you got to have heart. Yep. And, pitching with heart certainly helps. Homer Bailey, for real, he was not very good early, but he has gotten real good lately for the Cincinnati Reds, this blue chip prospect out of LaGrange, Texas. So we'll see what he has to offer and if he's for real. Saw him try to make the ball club in Sarasota with the Reds. He got sent down, but he is back up and pitching extremely well.
So Kevin Hart starts the ball game with the pitch to Drew Stubbs, and that's a strike on the inside corner. 75 degrees under somewhat overcast skies here in Pittsburgh. 0-1 to Drew Stubbs. Stubbs rolls it slowly to the shortstop, Cedeno. And he got him 1 down.
Yep. Game 2 of this series and the pre-summit game between the Pirates and the Reds.
The pre-summit
meeting. Yeah, so I don't know if you're allowed to say a pre-summit meeting because the summit is a meeting, so it's the pre-meeting meeting.
I follow you.
I'm surprised you do because I don't.
I do. I get it. Here's Paul Janisch. Red shortstop takes low ball 1.
There is some really intense security around this city all day today, tonight, and it's just going to be times 10 starting tomorrow.
And tomorrow, a 12:35 game here, the getaway day game for Cincinnati. And as we understand, it's going to be business as usual on the north side of the river. The south side and downtown is where all the activity is going to be. And we are told that there will be limited, if any, distractions traffic-wise. You will be able to park here. You can come to the ball game, see the matinee game, and again, business as usual is the word, or are the words. 1-1 to Paul Janisch. 2-1. Well, one thing we've seen from Kevin Hart that John Russell talks about a lot is consistency, getting more consistency, staying out of deep counts. He's been in a number of deep counts. He's thrown a lot of pitches. Sometimes tries to get a little too fine on the corners, and it results in pitches off the plate. 3-1.
Yeah, the last start he had with the Chicago Cubs, he went 6 innings against Milwaukee and threw 118 pitches in 6 innings. He'll raise the flag.
Three-one pitch. And that is ball 4. Well, 1-out walk here in the top of the first inning puts Janisch aboard for Joey Votto. And now the Reds have a base runner. Votto, 308 hitter. Joey Votto has been one of the more consistent hitters in this Reds lineup. He's trying to become the first Reds batter since Pittsburgh's own Sean Casey and Ken Griffey Jr. to hit 300. Casey hit 312. And in 2005, Ken Griffey Jr. hit 301.
And right now, Kevin's having trouble keeping the ball downstairs. Getting that plane from up high to down.
And there's been a lot of talk about whether or not Joe Kerrigan and John Russell will shut down Kevin Hart very soon. Will this be his last start has been one of the questions. John Russell answered it, saying probably not. Ross Ohlendorf has already been shut down for the season due to the innings limit. There's a base hit up the middle. Janisch is going to try for third. McCutchen just gets the ball back into Luis Cruz at second base. So now runners at the corners and one out.
Well, the obvious justification as you take a look at this single back through the middle is the fact that Ohlendorf has proven what he can do. So they don't have a lot of questions. I think they still have a lot of questions about Kevin Hart. And when you have questions, let him keep on pitching. See if he can answer some of those questions. They know what they're going to get from Ohlendorf pretty much. So, yeah, no problem shutting him down. I think they want to know more and learn more about what Kevin Hart has to offer.
Well, you wonder why and what the threshold of numbers would be. They're saying that it's not good to increase more than 40 2/3 innings a year or 41 innings a year. Ohlendorf last year pitched 131 2/3 innings. This year, 176 2/3, so 40 plus. And here is Brandon Phillips popping this one foul, and that will go out of play. And as you look at tonight, 129 innings to start the ball game tonight for Kevin Hart. He pitched 88 1/3 last year, so a big increase for Hart.
But that's still not a lot of innings. It's changed, and I can't be critical because a lot of these statistics have shown that injuries do occur when a lot of innings are pitched more the following year. But that being said, the old theory was the more you pitched, the more you built up arm strength. The more you built up arm strength, the more you resisted injury. So, and that has changed. I'm not going to question it because they have statistics, but that philosophy certainly has changed over the last 20 years.
We'll give you an idea of the increase. In 1967, Steve Blass threw 126 innings. 68, 220. Almost 100 more innings the next year you threw.
I felt pretty good.
It did feel good.
Give me those numbers again.
1967, 126.
Yeah.
1968, you were 26. You were 25 in 1967, believe it or not. 68, you threw 220 innings.
Yep. Well, that goes along with the theory I was saying that the more you pitched, the stronger your arm got. They've gone away from that.
Put 18 wins up on the board too in 1968 in those 220 innings.
That was a fun year. Yeah, I was 1-2 on June 1st.
Things turn around.
That's the truth.
When you were 1-2, were you scratching your head?
Oh yeah, I was wondering what was going to be happening. But the thing is too, it's still a very gray, inexact science to a degree because it's hard to really get inside somebody's elbow or shoulder and see what the tolerance is. I mean, everybody's kind of wired differently in the shoulder and elbow. What the tolerance is, what it can take.
Here's the 2-1 to Phillips. He takes it high. Just a couple of other numbers, just to jog your memory, Steve. 1968.
I love 68. You can talk all you want.
12 complete games.
Yep.
How many shutouts? 11?
7.
7?
Yeah, and there's a story about that. But the real fun thing was there was a string of 9 starts with 6 shutouts.
Wow.
In a string of 9 starts.
That's when it's fun, huh?
Oh, you're on a roll. You want the baseball every day.
Here's a 3-1. Runner goes, and Phillips grounds this one to Walker. He'll have one play. That's to first. They get Phillips. Phillips drives in the run. Janisch scores, and it's 1-0 Cincinnati.
Well, both of these teams have struggled with first inning situations. I think the Cincinnati Reds still lead the major leagues in the number of runs they've given up in the first inning. The Pirates have given up their share and then some also. Yeah, the story about the 7 shutouts was the appearance by Elroy Face to set a National League record on a Saturday afternoon against the Braves. I started, pitched to a couple guys. Elroy came in, faced a batter. I went to left field. I came back in. The Braves never scored. I finished the game, and that would have been the 8th shutout, and that would have tied a Pirates record for shutouts in one year by a right-hander. But I was very happy with the year.
Well, that run by Paul Janisch is the 100th first-inning run given up by the Pirates this year.
I think the Reds lead with 114 thereabouts.
Most in the majors. 1 ball, no strikes to Scott Rowland. 2 men out, top of the first. Runner at second base is Joey Votto. And Kevin Hart trying to find a strike here for Rowland. 1-0 pitch coming.
You know, if you remember 1968, that was quote unquote the year of the pitcher. That was the year that Bob Gibson had the 1.12 ERA, and he went something like 22-9. Now, who beat him 9 times?
That's what you want to know, right? And if they did, it must have been 1-0.
Well, because it was the year of the pitcher, there were a lot of other guys that were throwing a lot of shutouts also. 1-1-2. I mean, it's just
mind-boggling.
Stupid number, silly number.
1-1 to Rowland. 2-1. Scott Rowland had a night last night. He was one of several Reds to have multi-hit games. He had 3 hits, including 2 doubles. 3 runs batted in, and he scored himself twice.
Way back when, the unanimous choice as Rookie of the Year, 1997. Now he looks like that prototype grizzled veteran, and he is all business. He is a baseball player, Scott Rowland.
2-1. And that is inside and high, 3-1. Neil Walker on the Cedeno. Luis Cruz. They've got a lot of time in between innings. Hart is a slow worker, and sometimes the infielders and outfielders don't necessarily like that because they stand there.
A little flat-footed. Yep.
This one up in the air, foul out of play. And the other day for San Diego, Clayton Richard took the ball on Saturday, and he came over from the White Sox where he learned from Mark Burley. And when Clayton Richard grabbed the ball, he threw it.
Yep. Get the ball, get the sign, throw the ball.
He pitched like he had a doctor's appointment to get to. I mean, he was firing rapid fire. Here is the 3-2 coming up to Rowland. There'll be another.
That's I love to pitch fast. When I was pitching, I was nervous anyway. I was hyper and all that, anxious, and loved to work fast. Had a game against Grant Jackson, a former Pirate, and when he was with the Phillies, we hooked up. Hour and 47.
147.
Yep. Neil Walker's dad pitched a game against Jim Cott, 138. Back in the day.
That's pitching like you have to get somewhere. And Rowland hits this one up in the air to the right side. This is Garrett Jones. He'll make the catch. 1 run comes in on 1 hit. After half inning, the Reds lead it 1-0. 16 games this month. Moss, Cedeno, Walker, Cruz getting a start at second base, and Kevin Hart doing the pitching and batting ninth. And defensively for Cincinnati, Nix, Stubbs, and Bruce in the outfield. Roland, Yanish, Phillips, Votto around the infield. And Corky Miller behind the plate catching Homer Bailey.
And he's ready to go.
Bailey quickly into the line, and the pitch to McCutchen. Strike one.
Homer Bailey, 23 years old, 6'3", 210 out of LaGrange, Texas. He was drafted in the first round, the 7th player taken in 2004. They liked him then. They're starting to like him even more now. LaGrange, Texas. You know, ZZ Top had a song, LaGrange. Good song.
Good song. Good beards, too.
Yep. Dusty Hill and the crew. And Homer Bailey just tore it up in high school. All kind of high school records in LaGrange. Just blew everybody away.
McCutchen had a leadoff home run last night, his 4th. The all-time leader for the Pirates in leadoff home runs, Barry Bonds with 20. Al Martin's next with 10. He had 6 in 1999. And McCutchen trying to catch him. 1-2. He pokes this one foul. And last night in the first inning against Johnny Cueto, McCutchen just hammers this one deep to left field, a no-doubter. And that was his 12th home run of the season.
A good start for the Pirates, an ending that was the other side of the coin.
1-2. And this one pretty well struck, but Lance Nix will catch up to it. 1 out.
Well, getting back to Homer Bailey, drafted high, 7th round or 7th player taken overall in 2004. Cups of coffee with the Reds both in 07 and last year when he was 0-6. And as I said, we saw him competing for a starting job in Florida in spring training this year. It didn't work out and struggled, but he's the kind of guy who's got that golden arm and seems to have figured it out. We showed you that stat, last 6 starts, an ERA under 2. So he's even the record at 5-5. A couple of wins, no losses against the Pirates.
Lastings Millage takes ball 1. Lastings has been very good lately, both with the bat and with the glove. Last 2 games, he's made a pair of exceptional catches in left field. He's had 2 3-hit games on this homestand.
Good-looking changeup from Homer Bailey. Bailey and Kevin Hart hooked up here latter part of August 23rd, with Bailey and the Reds winning that game 4-1. Rematch, Bailey and Hart.
1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Take a look at the Barrel League leader stat. Batting average over the last 30 days in the National League. Pujols, Lee, Coghlan, and there is Lastings Millage, 4th at 370. Skip Schumacher of St. Louis chasing him. Barrel.com, definitely worth the click. 2-1 on the way. It's 3-1.
If there have been any issues with Bailey, and there have been issues, he's just figured it out recently, the control. He's certainly plus stuff. The control has been shaky at times. 45 walks in 17 starts. It's not awful. It's just more than he'd like to have.
Taking all the way, count full. Lastings Millage, former #1 pick of the New York Mets.
A couple first rounders here. Bailey, Millage.
And this one, a chopper over the mound. Phillips takes care of Millage, and there are 2 away for Garrett Jones.
We were saying last night that Garrett Jones right where he wants to be now. 2 outs, nobody on.
This is it. We go back to the 2nd of September off Homer Bailey, the 10,000th home run in Pirates history. So the last time he dug in against Mr. Bailey, he had a milestone home run.
One of the dozen that Homer has given up in his first 17 starts.
Jones with 20. Jones has made an impression on a lot of people around baseball. Leads all rookies in home runs and slugging percentage. Ranks third in hitting with a .303 average. Third in on base percentage. And the 1-0 is up in the air. Left side for Giannis. The Pirates go in order in the bottom of the first. We'll head to the second inning when we will return to PNC Park. 1-0 Reds. Been going on in terms of wins and losses. Said, quote, "It's a trying time for all of us. I'd be lying if I said a lot of guys weren't down. You just have to try to keep moving in the right direction, keep a positive attitude. It is tough to do in a situation where you're losing on a daily basis."
It is a challenge, but again, it is your responsibility.
And Neil was also wondering if he has been a bad luck charm for this team. He said they haven't won much since he arrived. And the pitch outside for a ball to Jay Bruce.
Well, we just got word that Neil Walker is going to be going to winter ball in Venezuela. I went off on some of the Pirates who turned down the suggestion they should go to winter ball, and I applaud Neil Walker for going down to try to improve. It's been proven that you get a lot accomplished playing winter ball.
Well, you played in the Dominican Republic in Santiago.
1963. Willie Stargell and I both went down there that year. And in the winter ball, I was 9-2. I learned a slider, worked on it a lot. It helped me get to the big leagues the next year. Shame on you if you got the opportunity to go to winter ball and improve yourself as a baseball player and you don't do it.
One of the guys on the Pirates roster right now who's inactive, he's on the 60-day DL, Evan Meek. Played in Mexico last year. Pitched very well, went to the Mexican World Series, and it helped him quite a bit because sickness kept him off the opening day roster, but when he finally arrived in the big leagues, he was one of the more effective relievers out of the bullpen.
Yep.
And winter ball helped him.
I think Willie Stargell either was in AAA or had 1 year of Major League service under his belt when we sent a bunch of guys from the Pirate organization down to Santiago in the Dominican Republic. It was a year after Trujillo was assassinated or committed suicide or whatever happened to him, and the whole country was in chaos, but they still loved their baseball. They loved their baseball, and we had tremendous turnouts, high level of quality baseball.
A shallow fly ball to center, and McCutcheon takes care of 2 in a row. So Nix is gone. The batter will be Corky Miller. I know you've told the story many times about how there were machine guns in the dugouts.
We had, they call them Capablancos. They're military police with machine guns. There was 2 machine gunners, one on each end of each dugout, and the people were searched coming into the ballparks. And it was in Santiago. That was in the interior. It was not a resort town. But we played, went down there early October and came home first part of January.
Miller takes a strike. You mean they weren't there to make you pitch better? In other words, if you had a bad inning, they might shoot you?
I hope that wasn't the there were some rough-looking folks around that ballparks, on those ballparks.
Line drive to left. Here comes Millage. He dives, and he makes a great catch. Lastings Millage does it again with the glove. Spectacular catch by Lastings Millage. Millage is thrilling.
Hinge gloves, and watch now, he's going to get it in the glove right there, and it's locked, and that's what helps with the impact, because before the kind of hinge gloves, that impact would knock the ball out a number of times. But now, boy, when they get it in there, that both sides of the glove just collapse over and just lock the ball in. Real nice play by Lastings, and he's made, well, I think at least 3, maybe more than that in the last 3 or 4 days.
Had one last night on Johnny Gomes in the 4th inning. And on Sunday, took one away from David Eckstein in the 6th inning in what Millage called his best catch of his career. On the left field corner.
Down into the padding. Bumped that left knee, but stayed in the ball game.
1-1 on Ryan Domit. Fastball from Homer Bailey.
Yeah, that catch against Eckstein, I wasn't sure whether it was his knee that went into the thing or his foot and jammed the knee. But whatever the case, didn't quit on the play. Did not quit. Was not afraid of the wall.
Count even 2-2. Over the last 8 games for Ryan Domit, 9 out of 31, 2 doubles and a home run. He's driven in 5. And he has reached base safely in 14 of his last 17 games and has driven in a run in 5 of his last 8. So he's been producing. One backs him up. Full count, 3-2. Somewhat on and off rainy day today has turned into quite a pleasant night here at the ballpark. 75 degrees at game time. One of those room temperature type of games. 3-2. And this one to Brandon Phillips. 1 out.
Okay, let's take another look at a nice play by Lastings Millage, the one we were talking about, where he goes over against David Eckstein, doesn't quit on the play. can see that left knee takes a bump, and Brad Henderson, John Russell out to make sure he's all right. Stayed in the ball game. Real fine play.
Right fielder Brandon Moss takes strike one. Now, one of the things that Milledge had talked about too defensively, Steve, is that when he was with the Mets and Nationals, he said the organizations didn't put as much emphasis on defense as the Pirates did when he arrived in Pirate City after the trade. And he had to work with a lot of the low minor leaguers and do all the same things that they did, meaning wearing their socks high and the discipline that they go through, and riding the bus, and just all the little things, as well as working on defense. And he has said that emphasis, or the extra emphasis that the Pirates have placed on his defense, has really helped his all-around game.
The more work you do, the better you're going to get. Funny how that works.
So we've come full circle on the winter ball argument, right?
Yes. Yeah. This Homer Bailey story. Check out this his high school career. He worked 298 innings, basically 300 innings. Struck out 536. 300 innings, 536 strikeouts. No wonder he went high in the draft.
And Moss, Votto makes the nice play. Foot race to the bag, won by Votto. Two men are out in the second. Yeah, I would say some of those high school hitters were overmatched.
Amen. Amen.
Based on those numbers. Look from the Southwest Field cam.
Kind of a casual race for Joey Votto. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, just barely gets it, but he gets it.
Shortstop Ronnie Cedeno. 265 average. He has 10 home runs combined between the Pirates and the Seattle Mariners this year. 5 with the Bucks, 5 with the M's. John Russell, speaking before the game tonight, said that he has been very impressed with the situational at-bats by Cedeno. And that's one Ronnie'd like to get back as Homer Bailey fields the comebacker and has set down the first 6 Pirates in a row.
And by Day Automotive, we're going to make your day.
Oh, that looks good. Hit a big piece. Yeah. Well, top of the third inning, 1-0 Cincinnati. Homer Bailey starts things off and takes a strike. Then Drew Stubbs, top of the order. followed by Paul Janisch. Along with Steve Blass, I'm Tim Neverett. Glad you're along with us tonight. Pirates and Reds, game 2. And tomorrow afternoon, 12:30, business person special. There will be parking downtown here on the north side. The roadways in the north, we're told, will be, or should be, virtually unaffected by the G20 summit. So we got a ball game. Pitch outside, 1-2.
I love watching the kids eat the cotton candy. Makes my feelings hurt, but the young kids, they can tolerate it a lot better.
You put that in your mouth, though, it just dissolves into a pile of sugar immediately.
Magic, yeah. Jolt.
Keep you awake all night. Now they've switched up now. Mom took the cotton candy and the Italian ice now. Well, let's see. Make a trade. I'll trade you the Italian ice, a cotton candy, and a pierogi to be named later. And that's just a flat out rejection. And Bailey strikes out. This day in Pirates history is brought to you by Day Automotive. September 23rd, 1976. Ed Ott made his first major league start and drove in the game-winning run in the 10th inning as the Pirates beat the Cubs 2-0 thanks to Day Automotive. One out, and here is Drew Stubbs. He grounded out to Cedeno first time up. Takes a breaking ball, strike one.
Speaking of that look back of the year 1968, the year of the pitcher, that's the year that Denny McLain won 31 games. 31 wins. That's a career for some people.
Is that one of those that, especially the way pitchers are handled today in the game, do you think that won't be touched again? 31 wins in a season?
No, because very few pitchers have 30 starts.
Line drive to center. Here comes McCutchen. It's going to bounce, and that'll go as a base hit for Drew Stubbs. He's 1 for 2. McCutchen can cover an awful lot of ground, but
he was thinking about it.
Couldn't get this one. Huh?
He was thinking about committing to it, and then at the end decided, no, I'll just keep that ball in front of me.
Well, that would have been a very, very tough play. If it gets past him, would have been 3 at least for Stubbs.
He's still running. That's what to do. If you're caught in between, then at the last minute you decide to shut it down, make sure you get that body. Get as much of the body in front. As long as all you have to do is keep the ball in front of you. That freezes the runner. That's kind of a rule of thumb with any defensive play. The more you keep the ball in front, the less people will run on you. The minute you turn your back on the ball, well, people are going to just get antsy and they're going to want to go. They're going to take off, and they should.
22-year-old Andrew McCutchen. And after Hart stepped off, now Janisch wanted time. Janisch reached on a base on balls, came around to score the game's only run. Those walks, more often than not, come back to cause pain for a pitcher. It has so far for Kevin Hart. Stubbs back in plenty of time. Drew Stubbs over there at first base. He is a Texas Longhorn. He and the Pirates' Daniel McCutchen, good friends. McCutchen played against him several times at the University of Oklahoma, and proximity of Bradenton and Sarasota, where the Reds trained up until this year. They spent an awful lot of time together at spring training, when not in each other's respective teams' camps.
Pretty decent rivalry between Oklahoma and Texas.
And it was Stubbs that hit the first home run off of McCutchen in his major league debut on September 1st in Cincinnati.
That's just not right.
1-0. There goes Stubbs, and no throws. That ball pops out of the glove of Ryan Doman, and down to second base safely is Drew Stubbs.
You know, we study everything and we keep a statistic on everything in baseball. I don't know if you could even do this, but it'd be interesting to see, of all the stolen bases in a major league season, how many are just straight speed or base runners reading a pitcher that gets careless and can stroll into the base he's stealing. I think there's a pretty decent, I'd say maybe 15-20% are just ones where a pitcher gets careless.
And there he goes to third. Domit, no throw. Wow.
There you go. There's an example.
Well, Stubbs just took advantage of Hart. Hart didn't hold him.
Yep. Got a big jump the first time. The ball got away from Ryan Domit, but look at it. It's 8 or 10 strides before the pitch is released. That shuts down any attempt to get the runner. So there's one of that 15 or 20% or whatever it might be of just taking advantage of a pitcher getting careless. Simple as that.
And that has to be something in the Reds scouting report on Hart. They're going to try to run on him.
Yeah, they're going to try to run, and that's the situation from first to second. But anybody's going to take off from second if he gets that careless.
So Stubbs a base hit. Now he's at third following 2 stolen bases. Now a fly ball would get him in. With 1 out and a ground ball to third. That's foul. Count full 3-2. Now if you reverse things, and let's just say he didn't go, he'd be at first base taking off more than likely anyway on a 3-2 pitch with 1 out. Trying to stand on that double play. But
if it played out that way, which is not real likely, but if it played out that way, sure, he'd be gone now.
But the only time you can really turn back the clock in baseball is when you wear the older uniforms.
Yeah, because you don't. It's 99.9 that it's going to turn out differently. It's going to play out differently.
Payoff pitch is popped up back of the plate. Domit gives it a look, but that's out of play.
Yeah, I guess the point I'm trying to make on these stolen bases is that there are times when you just want to take off and you're going to steal a base. There are other times when, hey, if he's not going to pay attention, I'm going to go. And that's the percentage I was kind of looking for. That was a case of each one. The steal of second, he was going to go. The steal from second to third, hey, if he doesn't pay any attention to me, I'm going to steal third and then create that ventilation in my uniform.
Yeah, price you pay right there. It's quite a hole.
Yep. He's cool.
So Hart walks his second man of the game. And now runners on the corners. Friday night, the Bucs will take on the Dodgers, and as voted by the fans, everyone in attendance will receive a Paul Maholm bobblehead. Compliments of Trib Total Media. It's also a $1 dog night. Compliments of Sugar Dale and Saloni's Italian Bread. Get your tickets. 1-800-BUY-BUCKS or visit Pirates.com and get your Paul Maholm bobblehead. Looks remarkably like that right there.
Mm-hmm. Now, conference at the mound, what happens in these kind of situations? A guy is working slow and he gets in jams. You're exactly right. The infielders perhaps not as sharp as they normally would be, back on their heels a little bit. Everybody gets a little, their shoulders go down a little bit. So if you're working slow but you're working effectively, yeah, you can live with that. But now you get in jams and it's still slow. That makes it tough on everybody.
Joey Votto, a base hit in the first inning, 1 for 1. Votto last night reached base 4 times out of 5 plate appearances, had 3 hits, 3 doubles, scored 3 times, and had a run batted in. There's a strike, 1-1.
A double play candidate, perhaps. He's grounded into 7 or 8 double plays, so it's not an outstanding number. Not a big number.
1 out. Runners at the corners. 1 ball and 1 strike to Joey Votto.
It's all about getting the ground ball hit sharply and at somebody. And everybody's a candidate.
A little bit more muggy than it has been this summer here tonight. With all the rain in the area earlier today. Joey's feeling it.
People have been waiting for some rain. We've got a couple of weeks of pretty dry weather. Don't need as much as you're getting down in Georgia, those floods.
Oh. 1-2, Votto deep to left. On the run is Millage. Millage to the track. He can't make it. It bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Coming in is Stubbs. It is 2-0 Cincinnati. Giannis over to third and Votto into second with a ground rule double.
Now, okay, let's check out our pitch refresher brought to you by Coors Light. This Votto at bat. The first pitch is upstairs, misses, and then he picks up the outside corner, 1-1. Nice, come down and in, and then the ball out where he can extend his hands. And we want to take a couple looks at this fly ball because Lastings Village, as good a play as he made before, he doesn't make a good play here because he doesn't create the correct angle going after the ball. The ball's slicing away from him. He went straight back at first instead of angling back and over.
Brandon Phillips pokes one to right field. That will get Giannis in. RBI single for Phillips, his 93rd run batted in. Leads all National League second basemen in that category. It is now a 3-0 Cincinnati lead.
This little kind of a cut shot into right field. So Votto slices the ball away in left field, going the opposite way. Brandon Phillips slices the ball the opposite way, going to right.
First and third, still one out. Phillips, the runner at first. Phillips has driven in 2 of the 3 Cincinnati runs. Now rolling first ball swinging. McCutchen in right center field will make the catch. Tagging at third is Votto. Throw's going to be cut off. And Phillips is going to take second base. Nobody covering, but Cedeno gets back in time. And they get Brandon Phillips. That run does count. It is 4-0 Cincinnati, as the Reds put 3 on the board in the third. Sacrifice fly here to score Joey Votto.
Yeah, this throw gets away, and Phillips decides to take a shot at second base. The Pirates retreat enough to get him and end the inning.
Phillips taking a chance with 2 outs. Looks at second, sees that nobody's there, and decides to take off, but Cedeno's able to get there. Yeah, you see Drew Stubbs running out to center field, and part of the reason this half inning is starting late. Remember, we showed you the big hole he had in his left leg, back of his left leg. Well, he had to get a new set of trousers that do not have any holes in them. So Neil Walker starting again tonight. Andy LaRoche has been ill. He did start 2 nights ago, but it took so much out of him that he hasn't been able to start the last 2 games. Walker 1 for 4 last night. Trying to get that batting average up. Switch hitter batting left-handed against the righty Homer Bailey.
The way Mr. Bailey's been pitching, you don't want to give him too much room. He's on a roll and he's sitting on an early 4-0 lead.
Speaking of sitting, Parrott does a lot of that. Just sitting around.
He's got the perfect straight man there, that young man. Oh dear, yeah, we're down 4-0. Absolutely. Oh dear.
Full count to Neil Walker. So Neil Walker out of Pine Richland High School. First round pick. Graduated in 2004. Football, baseball star there.
Yeah, these first rounders going at each other. First rounder Bailey and Walker.
And the full count pitch outside, ball 4, and Walker draws the leadoff walk. So the Pirates have their first base runner of the game. Bailey still hasn't given up a hit. And Luis Cruz will try to change that. Kevin Hart will come out on deck. He's buckled up for his first Pirate game tonight. And Cruz takes low. Luis Cruz has had limited duty. Well, Luis getting a good opportunity tonight to start at second base. Does very well with the glove. Occasionally he'll show up with the bat too. So Luis Cruz in 3 games against Cincinnati this year, 2 out of 5. He has scored 3 runs against the Reds.
Need to get him on and let Mr. Hart move everybody around.
And Cruz hits this one to center. Stubbs with his new pants on makes the catch. And back to first goes Walker.
I think we still might see the bunt program from Mr. Hart.
Well, what Neil Walker's looking for is one of those multi-hit games. He's had a hit here, a hit there. And he'd like to get over to second base here if Kevin Hart can get him over there. Strike 1 called. Puts this one down foul. That's strike 2. Well, last night we saw Dusty Baker send out Johnny Cueto in a situation where Cueto was done pitching, but his spot came up, and so did a sacrifice situation. So instead of using somebody from the bench, he sent up Cueto, who's a pretty good bunter. And Cueto got the bunt down. Successful sacrifice. In fact, he had a pair of those last night.
That makes all the sense in the world.
0-2 pitch. And Hart gets it down first base side. Votto going to second base. They get Walker there, and Hart beats it out at first. Well, a bang play at second. James Hoy, the umpire there, said that Walker was out.
Yep, they took the gamble, they took the risk, and it paid off. Get the lead runner, leave the pitcher running the bases.
That was close at second.
And close at first.
That's a neighborhood play. Giannis's foot was already off the bag by the time he caught the ball, but as long as you're in the neighborhood, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. So Hart aboard on the fielder's choice. Walker forced out 3-6. And now McCutchen with 2 down. And Kevin Hart, the runner at first. Pirates still looking for their first hit of the ball game. In the bottom of the third, a 4-0 Cincinnati lead. McCutchen 0 for 1. He's hit safely in 9 straight games. And this one to right field and foul. McCutchen's had a couple of long hitting streaks this year. His longest streak from the 11th of June to the 25th of June, covering 13 games, was just passed by Chris Coghlan of Florida earlier this month when he hit in 14 straight. McCutchen also has a 12-game hitting streak, and this one to right field, and that one could be triple. Step on the gas, Andrew McCutchen. He's going to have to stop at second base with Hart running in front of him. A double for McCutchen, his 24th of the year, and now the Pirates with runners at second and third, and Lastings Milledge coming to the plate.
Slices this ball down in the corner. That's the good news. The bad news, you got a pitcher running the bases, so Andrew's going to get 2 bases out of it. That's a given. Without the pitcher in front, could he get 3? Possibly, but the main thing is it kept the inning going and puts the Pirates in a position where a base hit can cut this deficit in half.
Yeah, that was triple territory for McCutchen. He likes it. He like those extra base hits. He's now hit safely in 10 straight.
He's looking at the chart up on the big jumbotron here. For rookies, he trails Casey McGee by just, I think, 9 RBIs, and he's been here a whole lot less than McGee. I think McGee has 51, maybe 62, is somewhere 51, 62 in that range. 61 to 52, yeah. 9.
Divided by 6 equals
whatever. Equals, if you didn't have a pitcher running, you'd have one more.
What an O to Lastings Milledge. Here's the pitch. And this one to Giannis. This will do it in the inning. And the Pirates strand 2. But Andrew McCutchen gets the first Pirates hit tonight.
And by Aflac, we've got you under our wing.
Top of the 4th inning, 4-0 Cincinnati. Let's take a look at our Aflac trivia question. There's Jesse Chavez. Jesse leads all National League rookies right now. He leads all Pirates with 69 appearances. Who was the last Pirates pitcher to lead all National League rookies in appearances? You don't have to turn the clock back all that far. We'll give you the answer in the bottom of the fourth inning. Give you some time to think about it. Hastings Millage 0 for 2 tonight. And the final out of the bottom of the third inning. Jay Bruce will start things off for Cincinnati in the top of the fourth.
One of their most critical losses due to injury. Jay Bruce fractured his wrist, missed a whole lot of time.
And Bruce takes ball one.
This highly regarded young man made his major league debut against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it was an impressive one.
This is his 8th appearance and 4th start since coming off the disabled list. He was on from the 12th of July until the 13th of September, so 2 months. That fractured right wrist. And a ground ball up the middle, and that's a base hit for Jay Bruce. He's 1 for 2. Leadoff single off Kevin Hart here in the fourth.
Take a look at this at bat. Hit ball right back through the middle. Not trying to pull that ball. No, well, that's instinct for a pitcher to kind of reach out barehanded. You're so close, you're without even thinking, you reach out many times. Many times you come away with a broken finger, broken thumb. They had that happen against the Cincinnati Reds.
And you wonder why you did it.
Yep, Johnny Edwards hit a ball back. And you don't realize how much spin there is on any ground ball, and just grabbed it and just broke the thumb.
One and one to Lance Nix. Nix was another guy who had spent time on the disabled list. He had a bulging cervical disc, and this is his 3rd start. Came off the disabled list on Tuesday. And he was on for a while from the 31st of June. And came off on the 14th of September. To get that back straight. And Nix hits this one to left. Bit of a run for Millage.
Better jump. Much better jump. Similar to the ball Votto hit. Votto hit it longer. Tougher play. But, Hastings read this ball off the bat.
Went straight to the ball.
That's the key. You gotta, first of all, from a left-hand batter, that ball is going to be slicing and trying to run away from you. So it's going to be a little more difficult than a right-hand hitter who would pull the ball toward you many times. Ball starting in left center.
Corky Miller has been around a little bit with the White Sox this year. Hit a 3-run home run on Sunday, and it was his first home run in a long time. That one gets to the backstop and down to second base safely is Jay Bruce on the wild pitch. And you go back to Sunday, and Corky Miller against the Marlins hit that one a long way at Great American Ballpark. His first home run since the 11th of June 2008 when he was with the Atlanta Braves. He hit it at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. And that was his first as a Red since his first stint with the Red in May of 2002 against Atlanta.
Kind of a Crash Davis type of a career, only at the major league level, which makes all the difference in the world. Crash Davis, the fictional character played by Kevin Costner in Bull Durham.
Played well by Kevin Costner.
I played in that league. I never did find Susan Sarandon.
No? There were no Annie Savoys where you were? No. There was no Church of Baseball?
There might have been, but
you didn't wake up early enough to go.
I didn't get the directions.
3-0 at Corky Miller.
Susan Sarandon played a great role in that film, as did her husband, Tim Robbins.
Luke LaLoosh.
Yep.
Ebby Calvin, Luke LaLoosh. 3-1. And, you mentioned the guys in the minor leagues, the Crash Davis types who rack up all of these statistics. A lot of guys, okay, hit so many home runs, drove in so many runs in the minor leagues, like big deal. I didn't get to the majors and do it, and that's one of the issues they have with it. Most guys will tell you that, who pile up some numbers in the minors. And this one to Lastings Millage. Will settle underneath it for out number 2. 2009 Pirates baseball on FSN Pittsburgh is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Want to see what a real airline is like? Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
I always remember the announcer in Bull Durham. Well, Nuke ain't got it tonight, folks. Pretty matter of fact.
Homer Bailey struck out last time up. That one nearly got away. Domit makes the backhanded stop.
That's what happens when you hold on to that slider too long and throw it down and away from a right-hand batter. Make it difficult for your catcher. He's got to come all the way across and try to backhand that ball and save it.
Here comes the 1-0. That one is high, and 2 balls and no strikes to Bailey. So Kevin Hart getting behind to the pitcher. Bailey's driven in 2 runs this season. Batting average at .065. 2-1.
That's pretty much what you need to do, Kevin. And if you do that, you're going to get this guy.
More cotton candy.
Well, that young man's not happy about the score.
No, I think he doesn't have any cotton candy.
Yep. So again, Kevin, just more evidence that that's pretty much all you need to do. Now, there, you want some cotton candy. You got some cotton candy right there.
There's a fresh load.
That's a dentist dream right there.
Sugar on a stick. But it tastes so good. 2-2 pitch. And there he goes. Down on strikes. Homer Bailey. Set down for the second time tonight. Kevin Hart trailing 4-0. League rookies in appearances. We know this year Jesse Chavez does with
I think he's in the building.
He is in the building, and he's rubbing his eyes. That's Matt Capps. 85 appearances, and it's like a setup. He's sitting next to Jesse Chavez. 2006, Capps led all rookies with 85 appearances.
Wonderful tribute in between innings to veteran writer Hal McCoy, beat writer for the Cincinnati Reds for 37 years out of the Dayton Daily News, longest tenured beat writer in all of baseball, and he is in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Hal McCoy, excuse me, a wonderful tribute. He's there with Rob Butcher, the PR man for the Reds. That's Hal standing up. Nice man, good man.
I think Hal was just asking Rob if he put him up to that, getting him up on the scoreboard between innings.
Yep. Great career.
There it is.
He's going to retire after this year. There's the tribute. Well done. Well done.
Garrett Jones, a swing and a miss. 0-2 the count.
Yep. Homer Bailey not missing a beat as he continues his good work. We told you the great ERA in his last 6 starts, and that all started with his win against the Pirates on August 23rd. Gave the Bucks 1 run in 7 innings. There's the pitch, just missing outside the start. After that, no runs in 8 innings against the Dodgers, and 3 more against Pittsburgh on the 2nd of September. That was a win. Then 1 against Colorado, 3 against Chicago, and none last time out in 7 innings against the Florida Marlins. He's been on quite a roll, this young man.
Garrett Jones on a bit of a roll also. He has reached safely in 31 of his last 33 games. Had 3 hits last night. 3 out of 5 in the ball game. 2 singles and a double. And when he hits them hard. There's nothing cheap about anything Garrett Jones rolls out there.
Change up tried by Homer Bailey upstairs. Full count. Pirates finally broke through and got some base runners in the 3rd. Wound up with runners on 2nd and 3rd after the McCutchen double, but then Lasting's Millage bounced out. Still 0's up for the Bucks.
3-2 pitch. That's foul ball.
Ironically, the last 2 nights the Pirates have done a good bit of hitting. A lot of base hits. But, the pitching wasn't there. Previous to that, a lot of games where there was pretty decent, sometimes exceptional pitching and no offense whatsoever. So that's the bad combinations. We talk about combinations in this game.
Leadoff walk for Jones. Pretty good speed walking down to first base.
I tried that last inning with the walk to Neil Walker, because that's appropriate. Neil Walker walked, but didn't get around to score.
Dolan is 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out to Brandon Phillips at second base. 9 home runs, 8 of them from the left side of the plate. His grand slam this year came against Cincinnati in April. First trip into Great American Ballpark. Pirates will finish the season on October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in Cincinnati. So even though tomorrow is the final game of this series against the Reds, Pirates will play the Reds 3 more times this season. 1-0 pitch. And Dolmet trying to bunt. That's something we haven't seen much, if any, of this year out of Ryan Dolmet.
You can see the adjustment defensively. If he gets the ball down the third baseline anywhere away from the pitcher, it's a base hit. But you don't see Ryan Dolmet bunting too much. You don't see cleanup batters bunting all that much.
Well, we saw Jones do that against Arizona. Arizona had a much more prominent shift against him. And this one into right field. And that's going to get down in front of Jay Bruce. Jones is going to keep going, and he'll be safe at third.
Reads it nicely. The ball wasn't that far away from Bruce, but it was an awkward situation for him to get up and make any kind of play to third base. So a good gut instinct move to third base by Garrett Jones. There's the ball. It stays there. Dolman's got the base hit, but check out where Bruce winds up. That's going to be awkward. Garrett reads it that it is going to fall in, and then keeps his eye on it, and then realizes, yeah, I got a chance to take an extra base. That's just a good base running instinct move by Garrett Jones to get over there.
Well, First and third for the Pirates. Nobody out of the bottom of the fourth. Pitch to Brandon Moss. 0-1.
Change up upstairs.
Moss bounced out to Joey Votto at first base. There was a foot race to the bag won by Votto.
Here's an interesting situation for Homer Bailey here. Talk about it after this pitch. It's upstairs. A guy who's been around maybe for 4 or 5 years will kind of try to pitch his way out of it. A youngster with good stuff sometimes will fall in the trap and say, okay, I'm going to jam first and third, nobody out. I'm just going to throw the ball harder. And that's a trap. You almost got to pitch your way out of these kind of situations if indeed you get out of them. But the trap is to think you can just muscle up and overpower people.
2-1 now to Moss. Moss has changed his look a little bit tonight. He normally goes with the low pants over the ankles. He's brought them up under the knees tonight. New look, hoping for some new luck. Cedeno doing the same tonight. 2-1 to left. Lance Nix. There's one down. Tagging is Jones. He will score, and the Pirates are on the board. Sacrifice fly and an RBI for Brandon Moss, scoring Garrett Jones. And it's now a 3-run ball game.
It was kind of a scouting report type of a run for the Pirates. That ball is not very deep at all. And Lance Nix even was coming in, had everything working for him for a very, very strong throw. But the Pirates had information on his arm, apparently, and no hesitation for Garrett Jones to tag up. See, he's moving in, and then the throw kind of losing steam as it gets to Scott Rowland. So Scott's been around long enough to know that there's going to be no action behind him at home plate. Cuts it off.
Well, one out and Ryan Doman at first for Ronnie Cedeno. Throw over to first base. Doman back. Cedeno bounced back to Homer Bailey. Bailey had 1, 2, 3 innings in the first and second innings.
So that free pass comes around to score. It's not the first time it's happened tonight. It happened for the Reds.
Keeping a close eye on Ryan Doman.
He doesn't run all that much, but again, he's in that category. If he catches you napping, he'll take off. He's got 4 steals. He's not been caught. Usually those kind of guys have the high percentages. They don't go unless they really got a guy out there that's not going to pay any attention. And it's not a high-risk situation.
It was Saturday when Ryan Doman played right field against the Padres. First time in over 2 seasons he'd grabbed a regular glove and gone out to the outfield. 0-1 in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Garrett Jones comes right back to the dugout and visits with hitting coach Don Long with the run. 1-800-SAFE-AUTO reminds you you're safe at home with Safe Auto. Proudly supporting the Obadiah Cole Foundation for prostate cancer screening and awareness. Early detection is the cure. Moss getting the RBI. His 37th. Ball, 1 strike on Ronnie Cedeno. And a swing, and that one gets out in front of the plate. No throw, and down to second is Doman.
Pirates taking advantage here of the opportunities to take an extra base. I don't know how you stop from throwing that ball. If you stop like that, your elbow is going to head out to second base. And more good base running instincts as Doman knows that he's got a chance to take it. And you can't think about it. You can't take time to think about it. That's got to come from that gut instinct. Pretty good lead by Ryan Doman. The reason I brought up that subject about young pitchers with great arms when they get in jams at the big league level, maybe try to reach back and get more. Consider his high school career where he was just able to reach back and just blow everybody away. So some of that is bound to carry over.
This one to Joey Votto. 2 men out for the Pirates in the 4th. And again, you basically look at a guy like Homer Bailey, who was pretty well developed in high school. He goes out there as a man among boys, blows everybody away, then goes to the professional ranks, and it's a little different. Guys can hit him.
Oh, yeah.
What does that do to you? You know, I mean, you're a good player at that age too. You turn professional, and all of a sudden, guys are hitting you where guys hadn't hit you in the past.
And you've never failed. I'm not sure what that's all about. We're not going to deal with that.
It points to home plate. Sure.
I think it points down to his wrist. Anyway, the point being, and you raise a good point, most of the guys that get drive, a lot of drive, have been dominant, have never failed, and you have to learn how to handle failure, because you're going up against the very best kids all around the country. So you have to handle that, and you can't be devastated. I mean, you've dominated in Little League, you've dominated grade school, maybe Legion ball, Babe Ruth ball, high school ball, and so how do you bounce back? And I've seen that become a situation where young men couldn't handle it. I've never been knocked around, or I've never been struck out if you're a hitter, and all of a sudden that's going to happen, and it's going to happen all the way up through. And usually it happens, the higher you go in the minor leagues, the less dominant you become, and you have to learn how to adjust and adapt and be a better pitcher rather than just a thrower, because a lot of times you've never been forced to learn how to pitch. You just you're a thrower, and it's been successful for you.
And on the other side of the coin, Neil Walker, dominant player here in Western Pennsylvania in high school, and then first-round draft choice, and then has to learn all over again how to adjust in the minor leagues, now adjusting to the major league.
Yep. It's a continual process. It just you have to get better. You can't be the same person you were in high school. That won't cut it, even if you're unbelievably dominant.
Ryan Dolan at second base. No balls, 2 strikes to Walker.
Eventually you have to learn how to pitch.
And breaks his back, goes the other way. Giannis, a long throw. Walker's safe. And a base hit for Neil Walker. Over to third, Ryan Dolan. Walker has a second base hit on as many nights.
So they keep it going, the ball deep and short, and the hole in shortstop. Once it gets past rolling, it's going to be a base hit. No way Giannis can make this play. He's just going too far the opposite way. And now another situation where the Pirates can do some damage with 2 outs. Didn't get the 2-out hit from Millage, but have a chance to get the 2-out hit from Cruz.
Luis Cruz. He has been a backup majority of the season here in Pittsburgh. Was on the opening day roster. Was with the Pirates for a little while and sent down to Indianapolis to get more regular playing time. Brought back and has been a bench player. And talk to him about being a bench player. It's a tough job because you have to perform like an everyday guy when you get your rare opportunity, whether it's as a pinch hitter or whether you get a spot start like he's getting tonight.
Yep, it's not the easiest thing to do.
(3-0) to Cruz. Cruz told me that he gets to the ballpark every day about 1 o'clock and prepares the same way, whether he's in the starting lineup or not.
Well, you really need to do that as much as possible. Not the easiest thing to do because 90% of the time you're not in there.
There's ball 4. The bases are full of Bucks with 2 outs, and the pitcher, Kevin Hart, can help his own cause now.
Well, that's showing some confidence in Homer Bailey's ability to throw strikes, but Dick Cole wants to go out and remind him, you put all your eggs in one basket. You got to get it done against this young man, or you got to face McCutchen. So this is do it or get off the pot for Homer Bailey.
Well, don't miss the final Sky Blast of the season this Saturday when the Bucks take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Following the game, it's Sky Blast, sponsored by Verizon Wireless, featuring Zambelli Fireworks and legendary classic rock band Foreigner live in concert on the field. Tickets are going fast, so visit Pirates.com or call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. And just like Steve Blass, you too can be hot-blooded. That is going to be a great show.
Head games,
Saturday
yeah,
night.
Yeah, know a lot of their songs.
Pirates and Dodgers, Foreigner and Sky Blast.
Don't help Mr. Bailey, Mr. Hart.
And Hart takes a strike.
Okay.
Kevin Hart, 4 hits in 23 at-bats, an average of 174. And if he's going to get another, now would be the time.
And once again, he's even in the count. If Bailey gets you out, make him earn it. Don't help him out. Don't help him out.
The 1-1. And this one is a shot right at Brandon Phillips. What a play by Phillips. He robs Kevin Hart and the Pirates with a Gold Glove play. Brandon Phillips takes it away. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
And the Reds still lead at 4-1. It could have been a lot different. Kevin Hart blistered the ball, one of the harder hit balls tonight, but Brandon Phillips, a good reaction play, gets the force at second base, and the Pirates, bases loaded. Looked like they were going to have a couple runs there, but he gets it, and then the flip to the shortstop. I thought for a minute that Phillips had caught it clean, but force play.
Well, Phillips made a great play on Neil Walker in his first major league at bat in Cincinnati. Neil, batting left-handed, pulled one to the right side, looked like it was going through, and he made a tremendous diving stop to take the hit away, and that's what Neil Walker began his career with at the plate, was Brandon Phillips. Sparkler, if we can use a Steve Blass vocabulary word. Drew Stubbs 1 for 2. Had a single in the third inning. They just ran around the bases. Took second without a throw. Took third without a throw. Kevin Hart didn't watch him at second base, and on the first pitch, Stubbs just took off. Three and one now.
Both walks that Kevin Hart has issued have scored. Don't do it. Just simply don't do it anymore. Thank you. Borderline pitch that Kevin gets the call on.
Stubbs ran around the bases so much he ran right through his first set of pants tonight. Big hole in the back, had to change in between innings. We were late starting another inning, waiting for him to get out to center field. There's a slow roller towards short. Tough play for Cedeno, and he doesn't get him. Throw pulled Jones off the bag some. But good speed down the baseline, and Stubbs is aboard.
Yep, wasn't hit hard at all, just past the mound, and very difficult play for Ronnie Cedeno. Looked like he caught a little bit of a flyer. Jones had to leave first base. And if he stays, I still think it's a base hit.
Paul Yanish looks at strike one.
Hard to believe that Stubbs would not take off again, having been successful. Those two attempts you talked about back in the third inning. Usually runners will keep on running until they get thrown out.
Well, here is an example of how walks will kill you. Yanish has walked twice and scored twice in a 4-1 ball game. Again, you look at how the Pirates get their only run. Garrett Jones walked and he scored. It's kind of been a recurring theme on both parts tonight.
I don't know if that's a sign from Dusty Baker, or he's just scratching his head trying to figure out what went wrong this season.
Well, you never know. There's a possibility it could have been a sign as that ball's fouled away and the runner took off.
Another good jump.
We'll see if he does it again the next time he sends him in. Is that something you used to be able to do, is steal signs? Could you pick them off?
No. I tried it for 15-20 minutes, didn't work, so went on to other things.
A lot of guys like to sit there and do it.
Yep. There's too much fun to be had in between starts. I mean, you got 4 or 5 days.
You'd figure you could just take an hour or two and try to help your team out by stealing some signs.
Yeah, you could.
But you didn't.
Nope. Too many ways to aggravate your teammates. As you see, talking about that before, the sliders that are extreme down and away, you don't have time to slide your body out too much. You just got to try to get the glove hand across the body and backhand it, and you know that's bringing the glove from one whole side of your body over to try to just save a pitch. You just don't have time to get anything over there in front of the pitch.
Pitch out that time, expecting Drew Stubbs to move.
And now, without any strikeouts other than his opposing pitcher, for Kevin Hart, 2-2, they're not going to pitch out back to back. I would think this is kind of an ideal time to run because he's not getting a lot of swings and misses. Contact usually guaranteed. Of course not. Of course he won't go when they guessed it. But
that stays okay. 2-2. Well, you get another chance. It's still 2-2.
I had the sign. I had stolen the sign that he was going.
Dusty's got his hat off again.
Well, yeah, but he missed a sign. I stole the sign and he just flat missed it.
I just happen to be looking at the dugout, so I'll take his hat off again. Now, if he goes, now maybe we'll assume that that's.
We're going to throw it first. I got that sign.
Hey, there you go. Well, that was kind of universal, though.
Yep.
That stays on. And that's a lot of work, though, if you're going to give signs and take your hat off and have to put it all the way back on.
Got to go over there again. And he throws the ball hard over to first, but it's not quick because there's a lot of arm action before the throw is released over toward first base.
Mark Berry at third. Turned 47 yesterday.
We want to go over there again. So it's not the quickest move because his elbow is coming way back. That move from the set has to be quick. There can't be a lot of extension of the arm back the other way. His arm is going too far toward third base before he reverses and lets the ball go to first.
Long stretch this time, and there he goes. And
time was called.
Time was called.
There are a lot of things a left-hander can do to cheat, but there's also a couple things right-handers can do. As you see, the late timeout is called. Always one of my personal favorites. The last possible second.
But you got to keep throwing, otherwise you could hurt yourself.
Yep. Got to go through with it.
2 balls and 2 strikes, nobody out. Drew Stubbs, the runner at first. Pirates paying close attention to him. 3-run ball game. They'd like to keep him out of scoring position, keep the force play in order. Stubbs already with 2 swipes tonight. And this one, a line shot at Cedeno.
Wow, that ball was tattooed.
Right in the webbing of the glove of Ronnie Cedeno.
I thought that might spin him around and take him out to center field. Oh, blistered. Right at you. A lot of that's positioning, because if he's not right there, there's no chance to do a lot of moving. The ball is by you.
You talked to infield coach Perry Hill the other day about positioning and where he learned range.
Range is being in the right spot.
Positioning. There goes the runner this time, and the ball hit to center field fairly deep. On the run is McCutcheon, and this one's off the top of the wall. Throw into second base, and into second is Joey Votto with his second double, and Votto is 3 for 3.
What a series he's having. I thought this ball was hit very well, and I thought for a minute watching Andrew McCutcheon they had it measured, but he was just trying to fake them out by pretending he had the ball measured and was going to make the catch, but that ball did not miss much of getting out of here.
And you see Stubbs
high up on the padding.
Yeah, Stubbs slowed right down at second base when he saw McCutcheon doing that. That actually could have saved a run. Stubbs runs well. Votto, he has had a big series. So 3 hits last night, 3 hits tonight.
Yep, and there's still more work to be done. And both these last 2 at bats, ball tattooed. Giannis, the line drive that was caught.
Field in for Phillips.
Joey Votto is very strong. I'll tell you, that ball hit about a foot, no more than a foot below where it would have carried over. Another foot, and that is a 2-run home run.
And for Votto, in the series of his 6 hits, 5 have been doubles. 1-0, and Phillips now 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillips has driven in 2 runs with a ground out in the first inning, and then with an RBI single in the third. Cincinnati's done a good job against the Central Division. We see Phil Dematria, left-hander, starting to warm for the Bucks. 6 games over 500 against Central Division opponents this year. 37 and 31. So they've taken care of business within the division. You say, well, where did they go wrong? Against the West, they were 10 and 22, and against the East, 16 and 19.
Don't go West, young man.
And 3 under par in interleague play, 6 and 9 against the American Leaguers. So the only place that Cincinnati had an above 500 record was in their own division. They've moved into a tie, by the way, with Houston after last night's win. The Astros have been struggling. They have lost 9 in a row. Lost their manager Cecil Cooper this week. Former Pirate coach Dave Clark takes over as the interim skipper for the remainder of the season. And they have yet to win a game for Dave Clark.
3-2 on Phillips now. He is a strikeout candidate. He struck out 70 times, so he can be had.
One out. Runners at second and third. Pirate infield drawn in for Brandon Phillips. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. And this one is chopped foul. Wide of third. You're not going to see too many second basemen as cleanup hitters. And there aren't an awful lot of second basemen who are flirting with 100 RBIs either.
That's right. Brandon Phillips having another good year.
The 3-2. Low ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
Kerrigan out to talk with Kevin Hart.
Well, as a thank you to our fans for their support all season long, this Sunday is Fan Appreciation Day at PNC Park when the Pirates will battle the Dodgers. Pirates will be giving away prizes all game long, such as season tickets for the 2010 season, a trip to spring training, and many, many more. Plus, all players will be greeting fans at the gates from noon until 12:30 before the game. For tickets, Pirates.com or call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. Fan Appreciation Day this Sunday. Game at 1:35. And again, the players will be at the gates at 12 noon. You can say hello, and they'll say thanks for coming out and supporting the Bucks.
And we'll give a sincere thank you to Kevin Hart if he can get Scott Rolen to hit into a double play.
Well, Kevin Hart's leash is getting much, much shorter. And into the fourth inning, top of the fifth now, where he has recorded one out, walked one, and given up an infield single to Drew Stubbs, who's at third, and a double to Joey Votto, who's at second.
Well, this is the critical point where you keep the Reds in range or they bust it open.
1-0 pitch, and rolling, base hit. Coming in is Stubbs. Being held at third is Votto. It is 5-1 Cincinnati. Second RBI of the ballgame for Scott Rolen. He now has 20 as a Cincinnati Red. And John Russell's on the dugout steps.
And the hand on the railing, and that's going to be it for Kevin Hart.
So out comes the skipper.
And this is getting to be a broken record.
Phil DeMatre will be the new pitcher as Kevin Hart's night is over. Our Columbia Gas 811 call to the pen has been made. We'll tell you more about DeMatre when we return.
Is brought to you by Hyundai. Now, Hyundai Assurance can even lower your price at the pump. Go to Hyundai.com to find out how.
Gorgeous night in downtown Pittsburgh. We are on the north side of the river. And the Pirates on the south side of the score right now, 5-1. Top of the fifth. Here's left-hander Phil Dumatre.
You take a look, if we can hold that for a minute. 11 appearances, 4 long balls. It's not the kind of ratio you want.
Well, he gave up a couple of them against the Dodgers on first pitches. One was a walk-off in the 13th by Andre Ethier. In the wee hours of the morning, last Wednesday morning, the game started Tuesday night. Kevin Hart obviously disappointed with his effort tonight. 4 1/3, 8 hits, 5 runs to the moment, although he is responsible for all 3 runners on base. Votto, Phillips, and Rolen are all on. And here's Jay Bruce with 1 out, the bases full. Dumatre breaking ball for a strike. Dumatre would give up a first pitch home run the next day in Wednesday's day game to Ronnie Belliard. And that was in relief of Kevin Hart, who had a good game. And the only blemish really was a 2-run home run he gave up to Matt Kemp. But Dumatre coming back from a long layoff due to surgery, and he has had some effective relief appearances. Pitched 2 nights ago, Monday night, against the Padres. Had a clean inning, a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout in the 7th inning, backing up Daniel McCutchen. And this one to right field, and this is going to be trouble now. Votto scores. Phillips around third. He'll score. 2-run single for Jay Bruce. 7-1 Cincinnati. Both runs charged to Kevin Hart.
Didn't get a lot of it, and that wound up working for him in that it fell shallow enough to allow both runners to come in from second and from third.
Jay Bruce happy to be back after that broken wrist. Lance Nix also another guy happy to be back after a bulging disc. There's a ground ball to third. Neil Walker will have 1 play. That's to first. Coming in to score is Scott Rolen on the play. So an RBI ground out for Nix. It is now 8-1, and all 8 runs charged to Kevin Hart. The book now closed on the Pirate right-hander.
And we were saying before the ball game, Kevin Hart's outings not real good, not real bad. Well, this one not good at all. The numbers speak for themselves.
Two outs. Runner at second base, Jay Bruce. Corky Miller hits this one to shallow left. Out is Cedeno, and the Pirate shortstop will take care of it for the final out. 4 runs come across. Tough night for Kevin Hart. the World Cup. He had 3 of those home runs in one game to set a World Cup record. USA defeats Puerto Rico, shuts them out 3-0 today in Italy. As Team USA looks like they're headed good things in the World Cup and maybe winning that. But Pedro Alvarez has been a big part of that team offensively. Brad Lincoln yesterday in a game in Florence, Italy, got the win, pitched 6 2/3 solid innings, and Alvarez had a home run in that game yesterday. Pirates beat Venezuela. Here's Andrew McCutchen. This one pretty deep to right field, and this one is off the wall. McCutchen will cruise into second base with his second double of the ball game.
Well, the break for the Reds is that ball didn't bounce far enough away. Well, Andrew McCutchen will be at third base.
I think for a second he thought he got it.
Let's watch him see if he gets out of the box. Well, hard to tell there.
And he realized right there,
yeah,
better run.
He's still not full speed, huh? Not sure what that was all about.
Millage strike one. And 25 doubles for McCutchen on the season. 2 tonight. Another multi-hit game. Is the 32nd multi-hit game, tying Colby Rasmus of St. Louis for third among all rookies.
You know, that kind of situation, unless you get a big bounce, it's going to be a double. But guys like Andrew McCutchen, one thing they love as much as home runs, I think, is they love triples. And usually a guy like Andrew McCutchen will see the opportunity, and if he gets out of the box, he's probably not going to get a triple on that one. But he would normally take off thinking that if it gets a crazy bounce, and he doesn't know that taking off, he might have a chance for 3. Those guys love 3-base hits. They can show off that speed.
Nice thing about Andrew McCutchen, too. Granted, he's 22 years of age. This is his first big league experience coming up in June. Knows there are things about his game he needs to work on, and has told management he's willing to work on them all winter long, whatever they want him to do. And not only has he been a really bright prospect and a good player for the Pirates since making his major league debut, he knows that he can be even better.
Possible triple, that at bat that had Kevin Hart at first base. Could have been a 3-bagger.
This one right over the mound. It's going to get the runner McCutchen to third. Millage is out. Well, McCutchen was one of the new faces in the month of June. Jones came up in July, and last week's Millage also in the July trade. So new faces, good numbers, and as Neil Huntington talked about yesterday, the general manager of this ball club, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys do, not only with a full season, but with a full spring training, knowing that they're just not prospects who are going to come up in the second half of a game and have to wait around that way. Here's Jones going the other way, and getting behind it is Nix. That'll get the run in. So an RBI for Garrett Jones on the sacrifice fly. McCutchen scores, and it is 8-2. 41st run batted in for Jones. A lot of times when players go to spring training, they know they're going to be a starter or compete for a starting position. They play early, first few innings, grab their bats, go to the cage or go home. And it's different when you are a reserve player, a player you figure that you've got to battle to perhaps make not just the 25-man roster, but the 40-man roster. And now those guys that we just showed you, they don't have to worry about the 40-man roster. They don't have to worry about the 25-man roster. That is a bullet foul. So it will be interesting to see how these guys do with a full off-season program, a full spring training, and full seasons under their belt next year. And since the end of July, those three players had 49% of the Pirates' home runs combined. So you add April, May, and June to that equation next season, and there's some offense. rolls this one to the right side to Votto. And the Pirates get a run on the double by Andrew McCutchen, and Jones drives him in. It's Charities auction earlier this summer. A sauerkraut song. Hey, we'll save the walkers the embarrassment of telling who's who in which potato costume. But again, we would like to thank them for helping out Pirates Charities, the potato and cheese delicacies, the pierogies, which also, by the way, were one of the main courses in the media dining room tonight. We had some Mrs. T's pierogies.
Yep, that was a big bid to come out and be part of that race.
A lot of fun. Hannah won last night by a purse. It was a photo finish.
They might have had pierogies in there, but they had no chance for me against the Wings.
1-0 pitch, and Homer Bailey rolls it to Luis Cruz, and there is one out. Well, I noticed when I sat down at the table, there was a number of plates that just had mounds of wings, pierogies.
Human sacrifice.
It was, that food had no chance tonight in there.
Boneyard.
Our producer Pete Toma went to the other press room, wherever that was, and brought in some rabbit food or whatever it is that he eats.
Tofu or fufu, whatever it was.
Yeah. Fufu tofu.
And that some weeds, some stuff on it.
Yeah. I'll just bring him some of my lawn shavings. He likes that stuff, I think. Just, you know, put it in a little dish. Makes a meal out of garnish. 1-1 to Stubbs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So we go on the road in Cincinnati. We go to a place that serves like huge chunks of meat, and they serve it on a sword, not a stick, not a knife, a sword, a full-fledged. You know, and Pete goes to salad bar. Strike. And Stubbs down on strikes.
2 up, 2 down here in the 6th. Long road for the Pirates. Trail by 6. Phil picks up the inside corner. Go to Paul Janisch.
There's an old jersey. That was a Circa Steve Blass jersey, wasn't it?
Yep. Another retro aspect of real newspaper instead of reading the news on the internet.
Ground ball to Cedeno. And Dumatre gets him in order. 3 up and 3 down. Keep on reading. Who is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly and a run batted in. He's off against Homer Bailey.
Just 4 Pirate hits tonight, 2 runs through the first 5 innings. Andrew McCutchen has 2 of the 4, a couple of doubles.
1-0 pitch. This one is down the left field line. That's going to go into the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cincinnati. Some action in the pen. Jared Burton starting to loosen. '90th pitch of the ball game, and Moss hit it pretty well. This one to the wall and caught by Stubbs.
Wrong part of the ballpark. Everything else is fine, just direction.
So Moss got under this one just a bit.
Well, if you think this center field and left center is big, should have been over at Forbes Field. 457 to center, 436 to left center.
Cedeno hits this one back to Homer Bailey, and there are now 2 outs. That's Coors Light 6th inning. Time for tonight's Coors Light Freeze Cam, and the bunt by Hart. Watch the play at second base. Giannis, foot on or off the bag when he makes the catch. And a bang bang play at first base also. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. He was out at second and safe at first.
Just think if we'd gotten 2 safe calls, that would have opened the door, but didn't happen.
Neil Walker back at the plate.
That wasn't any Neil's relatives running the pierogi race, was it? Just different Walker family?
Good question.
I know Tom. I know it wasn't Dad. I know Tom. I know Dad wasn't in that race. He's just either had a knee or hip replaced or some surgery, so Tom wasn't running.
Strike 2 to Neil Walker. Walker has walked. Did that in the 3rd inning in his first plate appearance, and then reached on a base hit in the 4th. 1 for 1. Looking for his first multi-hit game. 1-2 pitch from Bailey. And this one to left center field. And Stubbs runs it down. And that does it for the Pirates in the 6th. Take a look at our A&L Motors game summary. Brandon Phillips 1 for 2, a walk, 2 runs batted in, scored a run. Joey Votto 3 for 3 with a pair of doubles. He has 5 doubles in the series. Garrett Jones has driven in one of the 2 Pirate runs. It's tonight's A&L Motors game summary. Didn't take long for Votto to get another hit. They can't get him out. He is 4 for 4.
And I don't remember any of them tonight or last night being cheap. Yeah.
Joey Votto has made 1 out this entire series. It was in his first at bat. He hasn't made an out since. Brandon Phillips, second baseman, also had a good night. 2 runs batted in, 1 for 2. He's walked, scored a run. And Phillips lines it into the glove of Walker. What a grab! What a grab by Neil Walker.
The hot corner.
Outstanding play by the young third baseman.
And that ball was blistered. So Phil has 1 on, 1 out, and has given up a couple well hit balls here in the top of the 7th inning.
And Walker just returned the favor, taking a double away from Phillips after Phillips took away Walker's first major league hit.
Yeah, there you go. Finally got even.
Turnabout fair play there. Oh, 1 pitch, and Roland lines this one to left field. Millage will gun it to third, and with a head-first slide, Votto beats the throw.
Another well-hit ball.
Well, Dumatre getting touched up here in the 7th inning. Single by Votto, now a single by Roland. 1 out. Runners at first and third for Jay Bruce. Bruce had a 2-run single in the 5th. He also had a base hit in the 4th. 11 hits now for Cincinnati. Dumatre delivers a strike to Bruce. Here comes the 0-1. It's outside. Jay Bruce out of Beaumont, Texas, lives in Houston. Danny Bautista is up and throwing.
This would be the final frame for Phil Dumatre.
And Bruce fouls this one back. Bruce, a first-round pick in 2005. He was selected 12th overall. Jared Burton now is ready in the bullpen for Cincinnati. And that was in the almost the same spot Neil Walker was drafted the year before. He was 11th overall in 2004.
So he was the big story for the Reds. And Homer Bailey, probably not as ballyhooed. We heard about Jay Bruce for quite a while before he finally arrived on the scene.
2-2 to Bruce.
Both first rounders.
The count full, and Dumatre a pitch away from loading up the bases.
First round money's pretty good these days for the baseball draft.
Not shabby.
Shabby at all.
Just ask Steven Strasburg in Washington about first round money. Broke the bank this year. Bases full of Reds. Phil Dumatre has given up 2 base hits and a single. Bruce at first. Rolen now down at second base. Votto at third. And with the bases full and 1 out, Dumatre will face Lance Nix, or will he? John Russell starts making his way up the dugout steps. He'll watch the left-hander face the left-hander Nix here. So left-on-left matchup, bases full, 1 out. And Nix pops it up. Walker gives way for Cedeno. And Nix is out, 2 away.
What did Mr. Strasburg sign for? Remember what the
Was
number
it
was?
10 plus? And he is down in an instructional league now in Florida, working with the Nationals.
He has purchased part of the league.
Well,
Double switch now.
They spread it out quite a bit. So Bob Davidson, home plate umpire, visiting with John Russell. So there will be a double switch. Neil Walker will come out. He made the final out of the 6th. And Andy LaRoche will come in to replace him. And LaRoche will hit in that 9 spot. And Danny Bautista on his way in. Tonight's Aspen Dental plays that made you smile. Lasting's Millage with a great grab in the second inning, and then Neil Walker right here taking one away from Brandon Phillips. Plays that made you smile from our friends at Aspen Dental. So Andy LaRoche, who has been ill lately, did not start tonight for the second night in a row. Comes in as part of a double switch, batting ninth, and Danny Bautista goes into Neil Walker's spot, seventh in the order.
Matre goes 2 1/3. Joe has not given up a run to this point, but responsible for all 3 Cincinnati Reds on the base paths.
3 hits for Devontre.
Walk and a strikeout recorded.
So Danny Bautista had a great start once he was called up from AAA Indianapolis. And every so often lately has been giving up a run, but he had a lot of scoreless innings. Big streak to start with, and he'll face Corky Miller. Miller 0 for 3. In fact, Miller was the one who was robbed by Lasting's Millage. That diving stop you saw in the Aspen Dental plays that made you smile. And Miller takes inside, ball 1. Miller getting the start tonight. Ramon Hernandez started last night. First start since coming off the disabled list for the Reds. Ryan Hannigan is also here as a catcher. Remember, it was here at PNC Park. He took one off the forehead with the mask on, but he ended up with a concussion and missed some time. Two-0. Bautista can't find home plate for the first 3 pitches. 3 balls, no strikes with 2 outs. Bases full of Cincinnati Reds. 8-2 the score on the top of inning number 7. And he walked in a run. Certainly not the start he or John Russell had in mind. Joey Votto, who has been a Pirate killer so far in the series, 4 for 4, has scored his 3rd run of the night.
And that's it for Mr. Bailey.
John Russell not very happy. So Kevin Barker comes out to hit for Homer Braley.
A couple of the big boys around the National League flexing their muscles tonight. Prince Fielder and Ryan Howard, I think both hit home runs. Well, I know they both hit home runs. I think both hit number 42.
There've been a lot of home runs last couple of nights. Well, Barker, born in Bristol, Virginia, and actually was a neighbor of mine in Colorado, Highlands Ranch, Colorado. That's where he lives now. And Danny Bautista gets a strike, 1-1. Barker made his major league debut with the Milwaukee Brewers back in 1999. He's also had big league time with San Diego and Toronto. One and two. And Bautista trying to retire him here. 9-2, 7-run lead for Cincinnati. 1-2 pitch. Fouled it straight back.
Nope. Bailey can win it. Can't lose it. He goes 6 innings, giving up a couple of runs on 4 hits, 3 walks. Didn't record a strikeout. Keeps his string of fine work alive. Now it's 7 impressive starts in a row for Mr. Bailey, still with an ERA right around 2 in those most recent 7 starts.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2 to Kevin Barker. Bases full of Reds here in the 7th. And he struck him out looking. So Bautista gets Barker, but not before another couple of runs come in. Tonight's Mercedes-Benz E-Class attention assist of the game. Ronnie Cedeno doing a nice job at shortstop. He's coming over from the Seattle Mariners. Now Dayton, I know why this guy's being shown on camera right now. Director Jeff Mitchell likes the Dayton Flyers. He must have searched. Yeah, I think he searched all season to find anybody who even owned a Dayton t-shirt. The bottom of the 7th inning, 9-2 Cincinnati. Here's Jared Burton taking over for Homer Bailey, facing Luis Cruz.
Good year out of the bullpen for Burton last year. A little different story this year. Been up and down. Shoulder problem along the way. Ineffective earlier, but back out there for the Reds.
And Bailey had one of those nights he didn't strike anybody out.
Yeah.
But he did limit the hits to 4 through this part of the game. That's a strike. Jared Burton, 27 years of age, from Westminster, South Carolina. Originally drafted back in 2002. Was in the athletics chain and was grabbed by Cincinnati in the Rule 5 draft in 2006. Burton never made it to the big leagues. In fact, he never made it past Double-A with the Athletics. And then in 2007 he started in Double-A Chattanooga, went up to Louisville in Triple-A, and ended up making 47 appearances in the major leagues in 2007. He strikes out Luis Cruz, 1 down.
And followed it up with a good year last year.
Last year, 54 appearances. Went 5-1. Strikeouts to walks were good last year, 2-1, 58 strikeouts to 25 walks.
And wins to losses, 5-1.
It's always a good ratio.
Yeah, very good ratio.
Take that. Here's Andy LaRoche batting for the first time tonight. 247 his average. And he will take outside for a ball. And he's hitting 7 straight. It's hard when you have a hitting streak, then you come in late, maybe only get 1 at bat.
Yeah.
It's almost not fair.
Puts the heat on.
Yeah. And this one to short. Giannis will take care of LaRoche, and there are 2 away.
A for effort. He hit that ball hard with the atom ball.
Well, if you've got a burning question about your Buccos, for spot-on analysis and honest answers, ask Teak. Send your questions to former Pirates pitching great Kent Tekulve at Pirates Postgame at fsnpittsburgh.net. Ask Teak, presented by Comcast High-Speed Internet. After the game, only on Pirates Postgame.
Well, here's the bright spot of the evening for the Pirates. You've been looking for one. McCutchen, 2 for 3 with a couple of doubles.
Take strike 1. And speaking of Teak, we had a good chance to visit with him on the radio side last night, talking about fantasy camp coming up in January. 0-1 pitch. This one to Giannis. Backhands and throws in the same motion. Good scoop by Votto to retire McCutchen. 3 up and 3 down for the Pirates in the 7th inning. Stubbs, Giannis, and Votto due up. Including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Pirates.com shop. That's right. That's where he got that. Road vest. Pretty good looking jersey there. All the stuff is there. Pirates.com shop. Steve Blass, Tim Neverett, bottom, or rather the top of the 8th. Just went through the bottom of the 7th. It is a 9-2 lead for Cincinnati. And Drew Stubbs pops it up to the second baseman, Luis Cruz. Now, last night, Cincinnati put 10 runs on the board, Steve. Only the 5th time this year Cincinnati has scored double figures in a game.
So they've had their issues also.
They have indeed. They have given up more first inning runs than anybody in baseball, 114, and they have been in double digits fewer than anybody else, fewer times. Danny Bautista with 1 out.
They're knocking on the door tonight.
Tomorrow afternoon, 12:35. Pirates have not announced a starter for Friday's Game 1 against the Dodgers. And with Ohlendorf shut down, there is thought that the Pirates might do what's called a piggyback start, and they use a couple of relievers. 2-0 pitch. This one's fouled back, 2-1. So now that you get to this point in the season, you got one of your starters shut down, another one knocking on the door of being shut down, and Kevin Hart. It's all hands on deck in the bullpen.
So you go 3-3-3. Who gets the win?
The
middle guy.
Middle guy. But the first guy could get a loss. He's not careful. Well, you remember back in the February 26th. That's when we started this season against the Phillies in Bradenton, Florida, the first spring training game. Joe Kerrigan sent out 9 pitchers, 1 for each inning. That was the plan in game 1. Of course, it was a bit of an extended spring training due to the World Baseball Classic, an early start.
Well, back in 1995, after the strike, came back, and there was a serious thought about how you were going to use pitchers and how you were going to award wins and losses. They got on the other side of that, thank goodness. Remember when the season was shut down in August of '94, and then the replacement players in '95, and then when the real players came back. Crazy spring.
It was. I remember attending a spring training game in Arizona that year between the Giants and the A's, wondering who those guys were. It looked like a men's senior league game. Some guys who weren't exactly in shape out there. Well, they were in A shape, but not physical shape. Might have been pear-shaped.
We had a young man by the name of Jimmy Boudreau who played pro ball. Came out and he got a win. We all thought that, well, he should be strong. It's been 8.5 years between starts, something like that.
Plenty of rest. You mean he didn't pitch in winter ball?
No, he did not.
Didn't work in the offseason?
No, did not.
3-2 pitch, and this one will be popped up. Cedeno giving it a look. And Bautista against the first 2 men he faces here in the 8th. You remember the player that survived all that stuff, all the scab stuff and the
replacement stuff?
Yeah. He was a prominent player for a while. Still out there. Kevin Millar.
Kevin Millar.
So Votto with 4 hits. Pirates don't want him to get that 5-hit game. You got to appreciate what Votto's done tonight. Missed part of the season with that.
He's done nothing to hurt that
disorder.
Yeah, done nothing to hurt that 308 batting average either. Bumping it up to the 315 level.
Let's take it inside. He's trying to become the first Red to hit 300 since Sean Casey and Ken Griffey did it. Both of them did it in 2005. Pedro Viola getting ready to go, the left-hander.
Saw him last night. Saw Tim Cheetah, third base umpire, crew chief.
Here's the 1-2, and Votto strikes out. So Denny Bautista finally finds a way to retire Joey Votto.
to Southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
Blasting's Millage takes ball one. Jared Burton still in there for Cincinnati. It's a 9-2 lead for the Reds. Bottom of the 8th inning. Andrew McCutchen, 2 doubles tonight and a run scored. That has been the news offensively. Defensive change. Adam Rosales, a straight change, comes in for Scott Rowland. He'll hit 5th in the Reds order. Pitch to Millage, who has been a bright spot offensively during this homestand, and recently, in fact, over his last 33 games, he's hitting .347. .293 on the year. Trying to get it up over 300. Got it as high as .299 last night before his final at bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And this one is going to be back of home plate. Corky Miller will watch it, go into the seats. Well, you look around baseball tonight and lots of stuff going on in terms of home runs again. Phillies got a couple, and so did Florida. They played a doubleheader yesterday. Ryan Howard and Raul Ibanez have been hot with the bat in the last few games. And Millage goes down on strikes. In case you missed it from around Major League Baseball, Bobby Cox says that at the end of next season, he's going to call it quits.
68-year-old Bobby Cox, lock Hall of Famer.
Yeah, they've thrown out of more games than anybody. Gary Hairston Jr., wrist injury, left the game against the Angels. How about this one? Former Notre Dame receiver Jeff Samardzija of the Cubs. First career hit, it was a solo home run. And Dan Uggla became the first second baseman ever with 3 straight 30 home run seasons. Pitching change for Cincinnati as Viola jogs in. Our Columbia Gas 811 call to the pen has been made. When they battle for Quad A bragging rights. McDonald's High School football, presented by Trib Total Media, begins Thursday at 7 on FSN. There is
Pedro Viola. We saw him last night in what was at that time a lopsided game. Just, sure what was wrong with Mr. Burton. He faced 4 batters and retired all 4.
Striking out 2 in a game in which his team had a 7-run lead in the 8th. So I'm with you on that one, Steve.
Not quite sure what this is all
I'm
about.
not sure either. At last night, it was the same situation when Viola had come in and he struck out Cedeno for the 2nd out of the 8th, and then Dusty decided to take a walk, came out to the mound, and got Carlos Fisher, who subsequently walked the next 2 men he faced.
Dazed and confused.
1-1 pitch. This one is fought off. Rosales, the third baseman, will handle it, and there are 2 away. So let's just say Viola did the job. He got the left-hander.
The minute you said that, I was looking down at the steps. I was going to say, when he gets on the other side of the left-hander, would he come out and lift him?
Well, he's going to make Ryan Dolman turn around here. That right-handed. Dolman with a base hit tonight. 1 for 3, and this one's going to be a tough play for Rosales, and Dolman's got another base hit. This time of the infield variety. Dolman 2 for 4. And Ryan Dolman getting out of the batter's box quickly.
Not much chance for Rosales, but he goes through with it, and Ryan gets a knock.
Dolman aboard for Brandon Moss. Adam Rosales earned the nickname Pete because of the rose in his last name and the way that he hustles. I don't think it's you can compare many players to the way Pete Rose hustled when he played. Of course, he earned the nickname Charlie Hustle as a result.
Still got to consider it a compliment.
Here is the pitch. And how about this one? Our producer Pete Toma, his parents' names. Okay? Dad, Pete, Mom, Rose.
It all comes together, doesn't it?
No surprise that Pete Jr. worked in baseball. Pete the third. And Moss goes the other way. And this one will curl into the seats. 2-1. And anytime you bring up the name Pete Rose, when it comes to baseball,
Hall of Famer? Not Hall of Famer.
You have the discussion. It actually brings on several different discussions, but he is a hot button topic still.
I get asked that everywhere I go. Whenever I go out to speak, you think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame? I would like him to be, but he did the one thing you can't do. And I still believe that if Pete had apologized or whatever the procedure would have been a lot of years ago, he would be in by now. I think time would have changed that, but he's never fessed up and he's been stubborn about it. I'm upset that he's not, because I thought he played the game the way the game should be played, but not to happen yet.
Stubbs makes the catch, and we're on to the ninth. hits, and action called by the Bird, too.
Everybody wants to be a broadcaster.
That's it. Takes just 2 hours. Pirates Instant Replay tonight at 11, right here on FSN. Ready one? Take one. Roll X. Get out of there. They had enough of the Bird in the trailer. Here's Virgil Vasquez on the pitch in the top of the 9th inning of a 9-2 ball game.
Kevin Hart went the first 4 1/3, giving up 8 earned runs on 8 hits in his work tonight.
I think the Bird went out there and said it's not as easy as it looks. So he decided to go back to doing what he does, and that is being a foul ball. See, he didn't get an assistant when he was in the truck. He has an assistant everywhere he goes.
Well, Greg Brown has an assistant. Bird should have one.
Oh, is that right?
That's what I heard. And
I gotta get to the bottom of that story. Here's Brandon Phillips, and he takes a strike. So Virgil Vasquez out of the University of California, Santa Barbara.
I think there was talk of getting Greg an assistant. I really don't know if it's happened.
Oh, so you're saying it could be in the works?
Could be. Never know.
I see. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Phillips tonight has driven in a pair of runs, walked and scored, and was robbed by Neil Walker at third base. And Walker made a great diving stab of a ball that was destined for the left field corner. Phillips up and in. Watch out. Virgil Vasquez came upstairs.
A lot of ways to describe that. Chin music. High necker in. All kind of ways.
And Phillips fouls this one away. Phillips was born in Raleigh, North Carolina. Makes his home near Atlanta, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Phillips was with the Cleveland organization for a long time. Made his big league debut there in 2002. And that one came inside and hit him. And Brandon Phillips feeling the pain. Ouch.
Got him on the hand. Not much protection there. They're going to take a look and make sure he's all right. Back of that hand. They say there's like 100 bones in your hand. Not much protection.
Well, you got tarsals, metatarsals. I don't pretend to know any more other than those.
Probably several of each.
Yeah. But you're right. Lots of small bones in there, and that's going to be it. Phillips is going to come out of the ball game. So Drew Sutton will come into pinch run here in the top of the 9th inning. Brandon Phillips gets an early break. And they'll go take a look at his hand, more than likely. So Sutton aboard with nobody out. Batters Adam Rosales, the third baseman. His hand is just shaking. That's not a good sign. Strike call to Rosales. So a quick turnaround for these ball clubs. 12:35 tomorrow afternoon. Short night of sleep and turn around and play game 3 of this series. And Rosales to left center field. Here comes Millage on the run. He's not going to get it. Around second and heading to third is Drew Sutton. And a base hit for Rosales. Runners at the corners and nobody out here in the 9th.
Perfectly placed in between Millage and McCutcheon. And Rosales picks right up where Scott Rowland left off. Rowland a sacrifice RBI in the third and a couple straight hits, and Rosales replaces him at third base. They don't miss a beat.
Jay Bruce back up there. Bruce has reached base 3 times in a row. 2 singles and a walk. Driven in a pair. Lines one hard and foul out of play. 0-1. It'll be Bronson Arroyo tomorrow for Cincinnati against Charlie Morton. That game tomorrow, radio only broadcast. And the Dodgers come into town. Manny Ramirez and crew. And believe me, it's not just Manny Ramirez. Young players like Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp. They've been getting it done too. Here's Cedeno making the catch, 1 out.
I think one of the things you got to keep track of in all this misery, and it has been miserable, there's no way to sugarcoat it, is that there are still audition opportunities for these young Pittsburgh Pirates. There are jobs that are going to be available, and that's the way you have to approach. You got to come to the ballpark and be ready to play. A career could take a turn in a particular direction. Who knows?
Lance Nix, ball 1. Well, that's the thing. I mean, these players who get an opportunity. Look at Luis Cruz tonight, spot start. Neil Walker again, spot start. Even the guys who've been here and who have been up and down, like a Brandon Moss in right field, they get an opportunity to try to curry more favor with upper management as the season winds down. And then, I mean, they have an idea of what they can do at this point in time, but you know, you want to finish up strongly. It's sometimes in sports, and the saying goes is true, and I think a lot of sports, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to be considered a professional, you play hard all 9 innings of every game during the course of the season. That phrase, mailing it in, that's not a phrase you want to hear.
Right off the mask of Domit. He's taking a beating back there. That'll wake you up. Ready for the 1-2 to Lance Nix. And Nix rips this one to Jones. Jones to Cedeno. He can't make the play. A double play ball ends up out into left field. Another run comes in, and for just the 6th time this season, the Cincinnati Reds have scored in double figures. It is 10-2. The bullet hit to Jones. And this could have been 2.
It got a little busy right around second base. Here's the throw from Jones. Here's the runner coming in, bearing down on Cedeno, and well, Ronnie just simply gave some ground.
Well, it'll be scored a fielder's choice for Nix. And an RBI, but an error charged on the play also to Cedeno. With Sutton coming in to score. Now Rosales at third and Nix at first, and Corky Miller uncorks a long foul ball.
And who did they charge the error to?
Cedeno.
Mm-hmm. That's the correct call.
There's a ball out there in left center field. It will be retrieved by Andrew McCutcheon. Fires it into the Pirate bullpen. Top of the ninth, 10-2 Cincinnati. They had 10 runs last night, have 10 tonight. 12 hits. Well, the Reds, winners of 7 of their last 10 games. 18.5 out of first place, but they've tied Houston in the standings. And this one into left center field, a base hit. Another run comes in. Rosales will score. An RBI single for Corky Miller. 2 runs are in this inning. It is now 11-2. As the Reds pouring it on a bit here late in the ball game. So Juan Francisco will pinch hit now on the 9 spot for Cincinnati. Virgil Vasquez started the inning off hitting Brandon Phillips. Drew Sutton came in to run for him. Phillips took it right off the hand. Then Rosales the base hit. Dave Bruce popped out. Lance Nix, the fielder's choice, an error on Cedeno. Phillips would score. And now Miller an RBI single, scoring Rosales. Here is Francisco. Takes a strike. One thing that Zach Duke said after his start the other day is that he'd love to see just one game put together very well. You know, just wants to see one well-played game where they can get every aspect of it together. There's been obviously many times they've done that this year. And Zach is not incorrect in saying that, because he said the team is just hungry for a win right now.
Any kind of win. It doesn't really, when you think about it, require anything pretty. They don't have to get all aspects together. Just either pound somebody, outscore somebody, or outpitch somebody just to get a W.
Zach suffered that loss last night, 10-15. That's the record. Certainly not what he had in mind, but he has been a hard luck loser on a number of occasions. Certainly pitching deep into ball games. And when you look behind the record, there were a lot of things that Zach Duke did very well. And this one by Francisco into right field, coming around third and scoring is Lance Nix. And the beat goes on for the Reds, now leading at 12-2. And a number of close losses this year, and the Pirates would go on streaks of losing games. They're in every game. Even out west in Los Angeles, where the Dodgers took all 3, they were in every single game, had chances to win those games, and really haven't been on the wrong side of lopsided scores until this series. Last night 10-4, 11-6 against San Diego, and then shut out 4-0 by the Padres the game before that. So the recent handful of games, things have gone south in terms of the competitiveness. They get the out at second base. So Stubbs, the fielder's choice.
Well, the only thing you can say about tonight is those aspects that you're talking about, none of them have come into play. Pitching wasn't good, and just 5 hits through 8 innings. One of those nights where the combination is negative.
And again, looking at the rotation, we mentioned it earlier, Friday night, it could be a combination of bullpen performers out there to pitch against the Dodgers in Game 1. Charlie Morton pitching tomorrow afternoon. And back with Paul Maholm and the rest of the rotation. Zach Duke again. There's the pitch and fouled away. 2 balls and a strike. Matt Capps is up in the Pirates pen right now. Looks like John Russell wants to get him some more work. That's one of the things that they point to this year when they look at the inconsistencies of Matt Capps. They say, well, he just didn't get enough work in save situations.
That's the operative phrase, operative part of that phrase.
Down to third. LaRoche with a backhand. He'll go to Cruz at second. Last call for the Pirates. Will go to the bottom of the ninth inning. The score, Cincinnati 12, the Pirates 2.
A laugher for the Reds.
They haven't had many of these. Pirates will meet the Reds 3 more times after tomorrow to finish up the season in the Queen City, with 4 games with the Chicago Cubs and 4 games with the Los Angeles Dodgers in between. Dodgers coming in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Sunday and Monday are day games. And then it's off to Chicago for 4 in 3 days. A day-night doubleheader on Wednesday. And Ronnie Cedeno, former Chicago Cub, takes a strike from Ramirez.
Homer Bailey in line to pick up his 6th win. He went the first 6, giving up the 2 Pirate runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, no strikeouts.
Robinson Diaz looks like he's going to hit next for the Bucks. 0-2 pitch, and Cedeno will have another as he pops this one out of play. There's Diaz. He had a pinch hit double, driving in a run last night in the 6th inning. Cedeno down on strikes. So Cedeno 0 for 4. And hitting for the pitcher, Virgil Vasquez, is Robinson Diaz. It's been a good portion of the season here in Pittsburgh, but bulk of the middle of it was in Indianapolis as primary catcher for the Indians. AAA, getting a lot of at-bats there. Diaz's only home run of the season came in St. Louis, back when you still needed to wear a jacket, early part of the spring. And he shoots this one to right field, waiting for it. Jay Bruce. Pirates down to their final out tonight. Ramon Ramirez gets the first two Pirates, and he will face Luis Cruz here. So Cruz 0 for 2. And the pitch to him. He swings and fouls it back. And Andy LaRoche, who has a little bit of a hitting streak going, has had only one at bat tonight. He's on deck, and he hopes he gets another opportunity, at least for himself. And Cruz fouls it back. Luis Cruz, 0-2. Oh, 2 pitch. We'll have another. Well, it's a good thing there's a tomorrow.
That song, there's got to be a morning after. Go at it again tomorrow afternoon.
One, 2 to Cruz. I remember early on in my career covering the Boston Red Sox, Joe Morgan was the manager, not Cincinnati Reds Joe Morgan, the other Joe Morgan. And they weren't winning every night there then, and he would come out of his office and he would just say the Spanish word for tomorrow over and over again. He'd say mañana, mañana, mañana.
Yep, Joe's a coach here with the Pirates for a time.
2-2. Two outs, bottom of the ninth inning. Nobody on, and the pitch to Luis Cruz. Fouled away. Cruz battling. He wants a hit. Again, when you're that bench player and you don't get many starts, you try to make the most of them. This is his 4th plate appearance tonight.
Make him count.
The 2-2. And this one is again fouled away, so Cruz hanging in there. Two. And Cruz down to third. Rosales has it. This should do it. And that's a ball game. Cincinnati's taken the first 2 of this 3-game set. And the final score here, 12-2. Pirates and Reds tomorrow afternoon will wrap up this set with a 12:35 game.
Well, Tim, there's really not much you can say about this one. The Pirates didn't get pitching and they didn't hit much. That translates into a problem that results in a 12-2.